Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yo, if you are tired of seeing criminals get away with murder, tired of hearing excuses for the wicked, then it's time to take action. Hit that subscription button now and stay in the loop with the Jamaica Young Police channel. We are not here to sugarcoat. We are here to expose the truth, bring justice, and make sure the real heroes get the recognition they deserve. Don't wait for the change. Be the change. Subscribe, like, and let's make some noise and hold those criminals accountable. Justice in action, speak up. Crime must fall. And remember that we have go inside the description box and you'll see various links to various things for the Jamaica Young Police channel. JamaicaYoungPoliceChannel.com, where you see articles and stuff like that. Those who like to read, and we continue to give you guys exceptional material over here. So, moving on. Yeah, so Vybz Kartel is seen as a certain character within the dancehall fraternity. But you'll be shocked to find out who is the richest dancehall artist on the planet. Is it Vybz Kartel or Sean Dutty Paul as of April 22nd, 2025? So we'll tell you and give you data on all of these things. So recently Vybz Kartel, the self-proclaimed world boss, stirred up the pot once again with one of his trademark bold statements. This is not when he was in prison, since he come out of prison. Kartel continued to dominate headlines and influence narratives of Jamaican music scene. In his latest declaration, Kartel claimed that he remains the undisputed dancehall king in 2025. And according to him, no other Jamaican artist, dead or alive, can measure up to his legacy, influence and global appeal. But he didn't stop there. In a moment of what many are calling both arrogance and delusion, Kartel called out none other than Sean Paul, Jamaica international acclaimed superstar. Kartel claimed that if both of them, both he and Sean Paul, were to appear in the same space, whether at an event, backstage at a show or even in public, the crowd would naturally gravitate towards him, the Gaza general, because in his own world, he is the true legend that the people want to see, take pictures with, and embrace. Kartel's statement went something like this: if me and Sean Paul they in at the same place, and me the people them are run come for see, and me them want talk to, and me them want take picture with, cause I me are the real legend. So this assertion has sparked heated debates across social media platforms, in dancehall circles, and even among casual fans of Jamaican music. Many are asking the question: does Kartel influence within Jamaica truly outweigh Sean Paul's undeniable international success and Grammy winning career? So the legacy compare Kartel versus Sean Paul. To put this claim into perspective, Sean Paul has been the face of reggae dancehall crossover success for over 2 decades, with his hits like Get Busy, Temperature, Give Me the Light, and collaborations with global icons like Beyonce, Sia, and Dua Lipa. Sean Paul is consistently charted worldwide. His music played on radio stations from New York to Tokyo, and he's performed on some of the biggest stages in the world, including the Billboard Music Awards and MTV VMAs. On the other hand, Vybz Kartel dominance has been rooted deeply in Jamaican and Caribbean streets, shaping the dancehall culture with his prolific output of raw, gritty, often controversial music. His lyrical ability, charismatic delivery, and badman persona have cemented him as a street icon, especially among the younger generation in Jamaica. Kartel is credited with influencing the style, slang, and even bleaching culture within the island. Yeah, so Kartel make black people eat all themselves. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, man. But here's the $1 million question. Does street dominance in Jamaica equate to being king of dancehall on a global scale? Fans are divided. Kartel's loyal Gaza supporters argue that no other artist has the impact the culture as Kartel has, from shaping the sound of modern dancehall to mentoring younger acts like Popcorn, Javinci, Black Rhino, Devra Brat. To them, Kartel is not just an artist, he's a movement, a voice of the ghetto youth, and the embodiment of resistance against the system. Sean Paul supporters, however, remind everyone that success is not about local influence but about global reach. They point to Sean Paul's sold-out international tours, platinum albums, and the fact that his music introduced dancehall to millions of people who might have never listened otherwise. The irony of Kartel's claim, what makes Kartel boasts even more controversial, is that he is making these claims from since him come out of jail, since him come out of prison, after him serving time for murder. And them say, boy, the court say, we're not trying back, him go on, because the brown paper bag work with our Jamaican judge them, because say, we have somebody, yeah, and only the United States Supreme Court have corrupt, we have them to Jamaica, corruption, yeah, you understand. Wrong is right and right is double right. Once we share the same ideology, you can't commit crime and we change all the constitution and so it go. But if you're black, that not gonna work. You have to be a white. You understand? So some critics argue that this alone disqualifies him from making any such bold proclamations, while others believe it only adds to his legendary mystique. The idea of a man so powerful that after incarceration cannot silence his voice or diminish his relevance. But is that real power or just a symptom of a broken culture that too often glorify criminality and badness over achievement and respectability? Vybz Kartel's statement is not just about musical supremacy. It reflects the deeper conversation about what we as a society define as success, greatness, and legacy. Is it street credibility or international acclaim? It is the love of the masses in Waterford, Spanish Town, and Tivoli, or the applause from arenas in London, Paris, and Los Angeles. So whether Kartel truly holds the crown of dancehall king in 2025 depends on who you ask. To some, Kartel is the ultimate dancehall icon. To others, Sean Paul remains the ambassador who carried Jamaican music to the world without the stain of controversy. But one thing is for sure, Kartel knows how to keep his name on everyone's lips, even when he was in prison. And that's in itself a power that not many can claim. So, Kartel is one of the man them. So Sean Paul became the first dancehall artist to surpass 14 billion stream on Spotify. Yeah, 14 billion. So alright, so let's break this down. Nice and easy. Sean Paul surpasses 14 billion stream on Spotify. Now, if each stream equal $1 US, just for the sake of calculation. So we are talking about the richest, who are the richest. You understand? For the sake of this calculation, though in reality it's far less. So here is the math. So let's say, alright, 14 billion stream times $1, that would be 14 billion US. Yeah, man. Yeah, Sean Paul would have get. So he would have be one of the richest Jamaican. Remember, millions, I think billions. So in reality, Spotify does not pay here $1 per stream. The average payout stream on Spotify is estimated between 3 cents to 5 cents. About 1/3 to 1/2 of a cent per stream. So just a fun of it. Here is what the actual earning might look like at the real rate. So if you might get 3 cents per stream, you might make $42 million. If you might get 5 cents per stream, you might make $70 million. Still impressive money, but no we're near. Yeah, so this is the channel that we have been telling you about. United we win, divided we lose. A call to action for all decent, ethical and truth-seeking people. Brothers and sisters, let's speak some truth. Division has always been the weapon of the wicked. The ultimate tragedy used by corrupt governments, dishonest leaders and power-hungry manipulators. They divide to conquer. They pit communities against each other. They turn neighbor against neighbor, tribe against tribe, race against race, because they know the terrifying power we hold when we are united under truth, justice and purpose. That's why united we win, divided we lose. It's not just a slogan, it's a movement, a philosophy, a rallying cry for every decent, ethical and truth-loving soul on this planet. We are all calling on you to be a part of something greater. This is not just another YouTube channel. This is an international platform that transcends borders, cultures and languages. It reaches across the ocean and finds its way into the hearts, homes and minds of people like you. People who refuse to be manipulated. People who are hungry for truth. And people who stand for what is right, even when it's not popular. We believe in what is right, not who is right. That's what it's all about. So we expose what others are afraid to even whisper. So this channel reach across oceans and find its way into the hearts and minds of people like you, people who refuse to be manipulated. So we expose what others are afraid, because they themselves are afraid. We uplift voices that have been silenced. We connect the dots, several, reveal the agendas and show the patterns behind the lies that the mainstream buries. We cannot do it alone. Your subscription is more than just a click. It's a declaration that you are no longer asleep, that you refuse to be divided, that you see the power in unity, that you are choosing truth over propaganda, ethics over corruption, courage over silence. So I am personally inviting you, subscribe to United We Win, Divided We Lose channel, a home for truth seekers, the whistleblowers, the freedom fighters and those who still believe in values and virtues and in victory through unity. Because remember, evil thrives when good people are silent and divided. But when we unite, we win, always. So join the movement, click, subscribe and select all and let your voice be counted among the courageous. The 14 billion, fantasy figure. The $1 per stream idea would have made Sean Paul richer than Rihanna, Drake and even Beyonce combined, just on Spotify alone. So Sean Paul is officially the richest dancehall artist from Jamaica as of April 22nd, 2025. When we talk about global success, international appeal, crossover hits and real business acumen, Sean Paul stands at the top of dancehall mountain unchallenged. While many Jamaican artists focus on local hype and street credibility, Sean Paul quietly secured the bag globally, working with mega stars like Beyonce, Sia, Dua Lipa, Enrique Iglesias. Wow. Clean Bandit. And the list goes on like the 23rd Psalm. But here's the difference. Sean Paul wasn't out there trying to prove badness. He was proving business. So while Kartel them and the other them approve badness, Sean Paul approve business. Saying him never a police business. So the receipts don't lie. 14 billion Spotify stream, April 2025. First dancehall artist to reach this milestone. Countless world tours, sold out shows on every continent, endorsement deals, sync licensing for music, movies, video games and commercials, collaboration and just local, global household name that put him in front of millions who don't even know what PMP or GLP mean. That's like PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. Most people in heaven don't know nothing about them. As Sean Paul them know about. Sean Paul is a Grammy Award winner and a nominee multiple times over. So by April 2025, industry insiders estimate that Sean Paul's network is somewhere between 65 to 100 million US. Conservatively. And guess what? It's not including investment, real estate and brand partnership. So why Sean Paul is different? Sean Paul never get caught up in the hype of being a don or a bad man. Kept his brand clean, marketable and always ready for international stages. Understood that streaming is the new radio. Work smart, cultural ambassador without criminal baggage. While other dancehall artists were busy screaming Gaza or Gully or chopping themselves in garrison politics, Sean Paul was collecting checks from Europe, Asia, North America, Africa and the Middle East. So the bottom line, as of April 2025, Sean Paul is not just only the richest dancehall artist from Jamaica, he's the most successful, most streamed and most international respect dancehall artist alive. Money talk, hype walks. If you like, we can do some comparison with dancehall artists like Shaggy, Beanie Man and Vybz Kartel. But that would be for another day. So Vybz Kartel wealth is not even in the same system, same solar system as Sean Paul's. So let's break it down for you raw and unfiltered, the way you like it. So we are telling you, Sean Paul versus Vybz Kartel. The reality check. So the artist that are Sean Paul networking at 2025, him source of him income, and then you have a thing with them call it Freedom Tour and international deals. So we are telling you about the two of them now. You understand? So Sean Paul estimated between 75 and $100 million. Source of his income, streaming global, tour, and you have brand deals, licensing features with Beyonce, Sia, Dua Lipa, Clean Bandit, Enrique Iglesias, etc., etc. Yes, and him tour worldwide. Yeah, that's Sean Paul, him tour worldwide. Vybz Kartel, and him have major brand deals and winner of crossover success. So now we go to Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel now, you have between 500 to 15 million. Generous are, them say, between 15 to 40 million US. Local music sales, dancehall royalty, Gaza brand merchandise, some streaming but limited by, when he was incarcerated, so now him free. So you understand? So Vybz Kartel could never be in the same league as Sean Paul. Not the same league. He have the big money like him. You understand? And touring is where the real money is in music. Sean Paul does world tours, Japan, Europe, US, Africa, Middle East, and Kartel, he must start doing a tour. Sean Paul can sit at the table with the likes of Beyonce and Sia because he brings clean international appeal. Kartel, his brand, is tied to murder, criminality and gangsterism, which cut him off from corporate money and global stages. Sean Paul songs featuring in Hollywood movies, commercials, video game and fashion show. Kartel catalog, stream yes, but nowhere near the level. And with far fewer licensing deal. No major award. Sean Paul is a Grammy winner. Kartel, nothing on that level. Legal problems. Kartel just come out of prison. So you can't negotiate a deal with someone who's a convict, who is a known killer, criminal, involved in a criminality. So Kartel may have the Gaza nation locked down in some garrison community, but hype does not translate to global wealth. Being the world boss doesn't pay like the global boss. Kartel is a dancehall cult hero. Sean Paul is a dancehall international superstar. One plays the streets, the other plays to stadiums and arenas. So you have to figure out which one of them. Sean Paul is a global boss and Vybz Kartel is world boss. So let me explain the real difference between the two titles, because while they sound similar, they live in total and completely different worlds. Global boss equal international powerhouse as a Sean Paul. So when we say global boss, we are talking about an artist whose music is recognized, respected and played across every continent. Sean Paul's success is not limited to Jamaica, the Caribbean or the diaspora. He's embraced by Europeans, Asians, Africans, Latinos, Australians, Americans, everybody. He perform in over 100 countries, collaborate with global superstars like Beyonce, Sia, Dua Lipa, Clean Bandit, Enrique Iglesias, and on and on. So, the global boss doesn't need to glorify badness or gun lyrics to sell record. Sean Paul sent energies. Himself energy, fun, love, dance and vibes. Which is why brands and corporations are not afraid to work with him. The world boss, local Don with cult following, Vybz Kartel, yeah. When we say local, that means I'm a bad man. The man that kill people, whether directly or indirectly. And you have seen where in the charge of the murder of Bossy. So when Kartel called himself world boss, he's not talking about global dominance. He's talking about being the boss of the streets, the ruler of the Gaza Empire, Portmore, and the king of the ghetto mines. So you know, so ghetto mine people, them have a third grade education, and yeah, most of them can't think. Them repeat what they heard, yeah, whatever they are told. That's how them do. So Kartel brand is rooted in violence, gangsterism, bad man no big friend, garrison loyalty and street credibility. Theme lyrics about guns, murders, betrayal and street codes. And you know that he was convicted for murder and was serving life prison from 2014, and he was released in 2024 last year. So yes, Kartel has a strong cult following. Many in Jamaica, parts of the Caribbean, and among hardcore dancehall fans worldwide, except yours truly. But he's already blacklisted in many countries, cannot tour, and major corporate sponsors would never touch his brand because of his ties to criminality. So the key difference in their power: Sean Paul, global boss, and you understand, Vybz Kartel, world boss. Audience reach: Sean Paul, global, Africa, Europe, Asia, US, Latin America, all of the continent. Vybz Kartel, mostly Jamaica, Caribbean, dancehall, hardcore fans. Brand image: Sean Paul, clean, marketable, positive vibes. Vybz Kartel, tainted by crime, violence, and prison. Wealth: millions from tour, streaming, and endorsements. That are Sean Paul. Kartel, limited. Income mostly from streams and merchandise and royalty. Freedom to tour, yes, worldwide. Vybz Kartel is not on a worldwide tour yet. No. Global recognition, Sean Paul, Grammy, Billboard success. Vybz Kartel, street title, no global award after that statue. Corporate deals, Sean Paul have with Pepsi, Adidas, Nike level brands, and others. Low to none, corporation avoid criminal ties. So Kartel is the Don of dancehall dungeon. Sean Paul is the king of dancehall kingdom. So you better live in a kingdom than the dungeon. The dungeon, which part smell stink. Yeah, I don't want to Kartel there. Kartel runs Gaza mines. Sean Paul runs global charts. One is trapped in his own mind, and the other is flying first class. One can fill an uptown street dance, the other can pack Madison Square Garden, Wembley, and Tokyo Dome. That Sean Paul, not Kartel, can do them thing there. So you'll be shocked to find out that Kartel is richer than Sean Paul, April 22nd. Except no, this is one of the biggest lies, okay? Rumors and fantasy tales floating around the streets, dancehall spaces and social media, chat rooms today. So let's tear off the mask, dismantle the propaganda and deal with the brutal facts. False claim, Vybz Kartel richer than Sean Paul? No. The idea of Vybz Kartel is richer than Sean Paul in April 2025 is not just incorrect, it's financially impossible and intellectually dishonest. It's a type of foolishness that thrives when people confuse hype and cult and street buzz with real measure of global wealth. So let me deal with facts where the money comes from. Sean Paul, the global boss, over 14 billion Spotify streams. First dancehall artist to cross that line. Multiple Grammy awards and nomination. International tours across Europe, Africa, North America, Australia, and him collaborate with some of the biggest artists them on the international stage, and him have between 70 to 100 million US. Vybz Kartel, the world boss, but you know, so him trapping a female world. Him feast a boy because him have the low IQ people. Them him call them the sheep. Him say my shepherd and my sheep. And them, hey, no care him insult them still doing them. Love him, me I tell him. I don't know. Me understand. I just saw it go. So Vybz Kartel, film income limited to streaming, royalty, local radio, and Gaza merchandise. With Vybz Kartel now, guess what? Him rob up all the artists and them thing there. You understand? So. So people need to stop confusing local hype with global impact. Vybz Kartel might be the world boss in the ghettos of Kingston, Portmore, and some Caribbean circles. But Sean Paul is the global boss, sitting on international charts, getting corporate dollars, and respected across music industries worldwide. Kartel runs the streets of dancehall. Sean Paul runs the global stage of pop and dancehall crossover. The man will do all music in Spanish and all of these things. So, so Kartel, the truth is Kartel may run the Badman playlist, yes, but Sean Paul run Billboard charts. Kartel might rule Gaza fan base, but Sean Paul owns global dominance. Yeah man, in a dancehall. So now you know who's the richest dancehall artist in a 2025, and Vybz Kartel is nowhere near Sean Paul. So have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.